Am I the a-hole for thinking about divorce? Plus updates. Original post. I, 34 female, have been with Ken, 37 male, since I was 16. We met in school as he was my brother's friend. We have been married for 10 years, have a 2-year-old son and one on the way. Ken has always been my person, the person who you can't picture life without, and I honestly can't remember not loving him. I grew up with him, he's my everything. Unfortunately, Ken has this issue where it takes in everyone else's feelings like to heart. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. However, recently his best friend of 20 years has just found out that his wife has been cheating on him and none of the children are his. Obviously, his friend is devastated and is staying in our guest room. He's a nice guy, just life has him down right now. He started a process of divorce. The more time Ken spends with his friend, the more depressed he's become and distant. Our mornings used to start where I would wake up at 6 a.m. with our son, make breakfast. Then about 8 a.m. I could wake Ken up with a coffee and some breakfast before going to drop little one off at nursery and go to work. Ken works from home most days, only going into the office on a Monday. So I'd give him his coffee, he'd give me a kiss, and then I'd go off in my happy little way. Then I'd finish work, get our son, and go home where Ken would be making tea. I'd clean up after, whilst he was bathing our son and putting him to bed. I thought this was life. It might sound boring to some, but it was my life, and I loved it. Our house was filled with love. We would spend our nights cuddling, talking, watching a movie. Date night once a month. We would take our son out together on a Saturday and then Sunday go visit family or have friends over. You get the picture. I'm rambling. Sorry. Anyway, for the past month, things have been changing. Ken is more depressed. I make him a coffee in the morning and just get a mumbled thanks. I'd come home from work and a friend and him would be in the living room watching sports. I'm now making tea, bathing our son, and neither of them will barely talk to me. We don't go out on the weekend together, and I feel like a single parent. I've tried to talk to Ken about it all, but I get one-worded answers. Then he stays up till about 1 a.m., which I know is not super late, but I'm passed out by then. I'm exhausted, alone, and pregnant. I miss my husband. Yesterday I came home from work, and you know when something just doesn't feel right? Well, I went to find Ken to see what he was doing, as his friend wasn't in the house but Ken's car was. He was in his office looking up DNA kits for our son. I asked him why, and his response was, well, I just want to make sure all the kids are mine before I continue looking after them, as I'm not a free childcare. This broke me. When I say I'm devastated, it's an understatement. But if he thinks that I've cheated on him, then surely the trust is gone. Is there any going back? Am I just being pregnant and hormonal? Would I be extreme for looking for a divorce? I could put the papers in the envelope with the results from the DNA test. I think I'm gonna go cry in bed now. Had to take the day off work because I feel like I've just been gut punched. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. I think the friend needs to move out. Maybe go to couples therapy together and go from there. I'm so sorry you're going through this. I don't think you are just being pregnant and hormonal. I'd say individual therapy first. Clearly the husband has something along the lines of enmeshment issues, which needed to be fixed. Your husband's feelings are being fed from his friend. Working from home a lot disconnects you from being social, and the only social activity he gets is depression from his friend. This friend has to go, and once he does, you two can work on getting back on track the way you were. You really need to explain this to him and he should understand. These are all actions of the other person, not your husband, if that makes sense. Get through this and you two can be that much stronger. But as long as this other person is around, I feel it will only get worse. Good luck. Misery loves company. His friend is miserable and projecting his toxicity in your husband. You need to talk to his friend and ask him to leave ASAP, as he is causing issues for your own marriage, and he has your husband questioning if his son is actually his. This friend is toxic and has been whispering in your husband's ear, sabotaging your marriage and family out of bitterness from what his wife did. If your husband kicks off at you for asking his friend to leave, then serve him divorce papers with paternity test results showing the kids are his, and tell him he has lost his family because he chose to listen to his a-hole bitter friend. Not just ask him to leave, throw his stuff to the curb. He's convinced your husband you're sleeping with other people. I'd be scorched earth. It's about your honor and your peaceful marriage, but it has also cost your children the love of their father. Definitely couples counseling after you get rid of this guy, with your husband understanding this is a divorceable offense. Now for the first update. Hello Reddit. Well, after my post earlier this afternoon, I cried, then read all your lovely comments and I couldn't be more grateful. I think posting about it here really helps for some reason. Weird how telling complete strangers that I'm struggling with life seems to help. So I think after my pity party, which couldn't last long due to being a parent, I called my stepmom and dad. My mom died when I was 10. They are coming to stay with me on Friday. Crying on the phone helped, although I'm not really sure they could truly understand a word of what I was saying. I've spoken to Ken, well, more like spoke at Ken, telling him that his friend has till Thursday to leave. I'm not a monster and can't just tell him to leave at a drop of a hat. I've also told Ken he needs to leave too. Whilst, yes, I could go to my dad's house, I don't want to disrupt my little one more than needed, and all the things for my baby's here too. Especially as I'm 8 months along, it just seems stupid for me to be the one to leave. I've made it a point of not pointing out it's my house either. I'm trying to be common sensible. I'm not 100% sure Ken listened, but I did message his sister, who is a force to be reckoned with, and she said she'll make sure he's gone by Thursday night. Things I've told Ken I want is yes, he can have the DNA test, but I will be damned if I don't want to do it. He can also have one for the baby, as I have nothing to hide. I know that some people have questioned why I'm so against it. Let me make something clear. I would never cheat, because as I said in my last post, Ken is, or was, I don't know, my person. He's the only man I've ever been with, so that isn't any concern of mine. I'm just hurt that he wants one, because clearly he doesn't trust me. So things I want him to have the DNA tests, mainly so I can make him eat the results. Not literally, I'm just venting. I'm also going to suggest couples therapy. I already see one due to losing my mom and my little sister in a car crash when I was little. I want to suggest he sees one alone, but you can lead a horse to water but can't make him drink it. I don't want to force him to do anything he doesn't want to do. I want him to maintain contact with our son. Yes, he doesn't believe he's the father right now, but that's no reason he should neglect him as he's his, and I don't want to upset my son. Yeah, he's only 2, but still he deserves all the love from both his parents. He's done nothing wrong. Then obviously this one when he or she comes along. Still not sure about the state of my marriage, but even if divorce is what happens, I need to be able to get through to him so he can be the father he was. Am I going insane? Do I sound insane? I don't know why writing here helps so much. Thanks, Reddit. I want an update after Ken's sister rips him a new you-know-what. She's had enough. Oh yeah, he's broken. Jesus Christ, the husband just willy-nilly imploding his family based on nothing. And I feel for the friend whose entire life was upended. But I hope he realizes he's had a hand in destroying an innocent family who were helping him too. This happened to my friend, now divorced. Her husband's friend was in a terrible marriage and stayed only for his kids and is miserable. Stayed with my friend and her husband for a while. During this time, it poisoned a well and freaked her husband out. He refused to have babies because he was so afraid of becoming like his friend. Then everything was, my friend this, my friend has this, and he up and packed and left her and was like, I don't know if I can do this. No problems at all, planning to have kids, been together for a long time. Just was with his friend, and didn't want to be in a situation even though they have been planning for a family, and were always happy until that guy came around. Super sad. Your friend dodged a bullet. Scratch that, she dodged a missile. A well-forged piece of metal doesn't snap the first time it's tested. The man wasn't trustworthy and unable to give trust. Why would your friend want to stay married to and have children with someone flaky like that? Of course, the process of divorce is painful, but it was a blessing she found out when she did, rather than years later. I have a good friend who wasn't so fortunate. By the time she found out what a worm her husband was, she was almost past the age of having kids. I actually grew up with him and was his friend, but I don't speak to him after the way he acted, and she and I are still good friends. She doesn't have any kids and she really wanted to be a mom. She gave him her youth, and he squandered it by doing a bunch of dishonorable things I won't detail here. I hope your friend finds an emotionally mature and healthy guy, gets married again, and has the family she wants. Second update. Following my 2 other posts, I will answer some questions. Yes, it is my house. It was left to me when my mom died. I've lived here all my life. I didn't move out because I have a child and one on the way, so why should I be the one to leave? I get that some people believe I was the a-hole for asking him to leave, but as I was heavily pregnant, have a toddler, and it's my house, I wasn't about to leave. Yes, he could have stayed, but have you tried living with someone who just wants to argue or just not talk? I'd prefer my child not to live in that environment, thank you. At the end of the day, I'm a mother first, and a wife second. If you think that's harsh, then I don't know what to tell you. My children come first, end of. Well, Ken's friend did leave the day I told him he had till Thursday. He wasn't happy about it and shouted some insults at me, which was amazing. Ken's sister came and picked up Ken. I wish I could tell you what she said, but she didn't say anything in front of me. Just kept giving Ken death stares. We did get a DNA test for a little one and Ken is the father, obviously. Ken somehow thinks I've intercepted the results even though I wasn't the one that did it. I wasn't the one that got handed the results, etc., so he's clearly lost his mind. My dad came over and whilst I was making tea, my waters broke. My little girl is here. She's healthy and happy. She was 9 pounds 8 ounces, so no concern of anything with her. I'm now a mom of 2. I'm home now and Ken has been able to see his baby girl, although as she's not had a DNA test, he disagrees with her being his because his family doesn't have many girls. Yet he has a sister, so I just rolled my eyes. I don't really know where to go from here. Ken is refusing therapy. He says there's nothing wrong with him or his brain. I beg to differ. He wants to get another DNA test for our boy but won't tell me when or where so I can't interfere. Maybe one day he will come to his senses. My dad and stepmom are staying with me for a while to help me with the babies. I'd like to say I'm okay, but honestly my emotions are all over the show. I don't know which way is up. Ken's sister visits the babies and we have an unspoken rule that we don't speak about Ken, apart from when our son asks about him. I wish it was the kind of update where he got the results, seen how much of an idiot he's been, and we move on. But sadly, that's not the case. I can't dwell on it too much. Just take things one day at a time. I do miss my person and worry that he's missing out on his baby girl's life already, which if I think about too much, I will just sit and cry. But I don't have time for that. As always, thanks for listening to my rant. I might update if anything else happens in my life. Right now, I'm still left wondering if I'm doing the right thing here. Is there anything I could do differently? Why are my kids so hard for him to accept all of a sudden? Now for more advice before the last update. I think he's either projecting or having a mental breakdown. It's gotta be one or the other. And tell his sister to tell him to get help or it's over. And make it clear that if he doesn't go to therapy/counseling or whatever, that a divorce is imminent. I'm leaning towards it being a total mental breakdown and his friend egged it on. I can't imagine what would cause such a sudden switch in personality otherwise. I think he is now in denial because he wants to not be the father. Otherwise, he screwed up his whole life for nothing. And that would be more dangerous to him than being depressed because his wife cheated, but at least be validated. But also, is it possible to have DNA results in 4 days? Yes, if you're just wanting at-home DNA testing and it isn't for a court case, etc. Private companies can do it in 3 to 5 days. Most likely he's projecting. Every thief thinks that others are of his condition. Another thing, if he uses the thing about girls, attack with it. The next time he says that there are no girls in his family or many girls, tell him that in that case, his mother cheated on his father, or he thinks that his sister was brought by the stork. Do whatever is necessary legally to ensure daddy is supporting the kids financially. Do not let him off the hook. Now for the last update. Hello again, Reddit. Things have been bizarre, but now I have closure. I know what's happened to my marriage. I know what scum Ken really is. He is not my person and never truly was. So now I just want to divorce him, cut my losses, and move on with my life. I'm still at home with my babies settling into motherhood. My dad and stepmom are still here, but they will be leaving soon once I'm more emotionally stable. To say I'm okay would be a lie, but now I know what I need to do. I have some sort of closure with Ken. I know what happened with him and I know that is not my fault. Turns out Ken was having an affair and has a baby on the way. Even typing that makes me want to throw up. I found this out when a visibly pregnant lady just knocked on my door and asked me when I would be leaving the house as it's Ken's house. When I say this confused the crap out of me, I mean it. I talked to this woman for a while to try to work out what she was talking about. It turns out that she's Ken's side piece. Well, technically in her head, she's his fiancé. A month ago, Ken got down on one knee and proposed her in my freaking kitchen. Classy, right? So they have been seeing each other for a while. She's having his baby. She believes I'm the ex-wife who Ken is letting stay in his house till I get on my feet. We apparently broke up a few years ago, and none of my kids are Ken's. When I go to work in the mornings, Ken goes to her house and works from there. They were waiting for marriage to move in together. How are you trying to marry someone when you are already married? Freaking weirdo. I asked for proof of all this. She has pictures of them together. Apparently, she has a lonely fans account that they make content together. Vomit. I told her we are still married and explained everything to her. I'm not sure what she's going to do, but hey, not my circus, not my monkey. Now I want a divorce. Is it true that once you talk to a solicitor about divorce, they can't represent the person you divorce? I want to go around our town and meet with as many solicitors as possible as the first hour is free, so that he has a very hard time getting representation? Is that too petty? The house is in my name only and is protected, so there is no way he can take it. I have all my money, and we do have a joint account, but that's just what we put our share of household bills in. I haven't spoken directly with Ken. His family have completely cut him off and has been kicked out of his sister's house. All those people that was concerned about him having tumor or something wrong with his brain, I really don't think that's the case. I think his actions just caught up to him as his lies were going to come out once his baby was born. I think that's what happened. He got backed into a corner and tried to fight his way out. Through divorce process, I will get the court to do DNA testing so he has proof for both, even if it chooses to not believe it. I'm mentally exhausted from all of this and sat wondering how I didn't notice. Might have to go for an eye test. But honestly, would I be so wrong for just making his life as difficult as possible to get legal advice, or is that too far? I want him to suffer. Everyone knows that family law judges love it when you deliberately complicate the process out of spite for your soon-to-be ex. It's basically their favorite thing. It's also just a bad idea, even if you don't take that into account. But yes, this is an easy way to tick off a judge. OP wants to be divorced at this point. Make it so that ex can't find representation in the area just makes the divorce take longer and cost more money. It may make sense as a strategy to block your ex from one or two particular attorneys/firms, though I won't comment on the ethics or morality of doing that, but it doesn't make any sense to try and block them from everyone. This is like the 10th story where the affair partner shows up to take the house that isn't even the cheaters to begin with. I used to own a house that I let my friends, or friends of friends, rent rooms from me while I also lived there. Some stayed for a year, some only months. Multiple people would lie to whoever they were dating at a time and tell them they owned a place. Blew my mind when it happened the first time. By the third and fourth time, I wasn't even fazed by it. For real, it's weird how people have this compulsion to lie about owning a home. I bought a house, and my now ex-boyfriend moved in with me. His credit was terrible and we couldn't get an apartment together. So I decided if I was going to be liable for everything, then I would buy. After I broke up with him and kicked him out, a friend/coworker came to me and was clearly struggling to tell me something. Her friend's boyfriend worked with my boyfriend, and my boyfriend had been telling people he bought my house. My friend's friend quickly corrected things, but it was telling that dropping the boyfriend was the right move on my end. They lie about saving for a home too. When I was single and dating, there were so many dudes in their late 20s who lived with their parents, but were doing so to save up for a house. The simple question, so what is your timeline, usually got a glassy-eyed stare. I just stopped agreeing to date anyone who still lived with their mother at that point. Would I be the a-hole for denying my deceased father's girlfriend the only two things she wanted from his estate to remember him by? My father passed away completely unexpectedly 2 months ago. He was twice divorced and had 3 children. 1 from his first marriage and 2 from the second. I'm from the second marriage. 3 years ago, he found a new girlfriend. She's a very kind woman, and he quickly proposed to her. She accepted, but on the condition that he moved out of his old apartment. The apartment is 9 rooms, all filled with documents, memorabilia, broken or very used designer furniture, and personal items. He never moved out. He simply couldn't muster the energy to clean it all up, and so they were never married. His girlfriend isn't mentioned in any will, probably because he expected to be married to her soon enough for it not to matter. Legally, she inherits nothing. She's now asked us to give her 2 things to remember him by, a wristwatch and a silver bowl. It just so happens that these are the 2 most valuable items in the entire apartment, probably around $10,000 each. We don't know if he promised them to her or if she's just scoped them out when visiting him. We do know that he's already given her gifts worth around $100,000 and that she's well off financially. We could all really use some extra money at the moment. Some of us have small children, and one is saving up for a wedding. Would I be the a-hole for telling her that we're keeping the items, probably with the intention of selling them? Now for the top comments. I felt like there is far too much left out here. I'm ignoring the will part because it seems pretty clear-cut on who those items belong to legally. I'm more curious in what the situation was while they were together and how much his kids were a part of his life. It's so sad to see family crawl out of the woodwork when someone dies because they stand to inherit. A family friend had to deal with her next-door neighbor's kids showing up and contesting the revised will of the neighbor because it changed it from the kids getting everything to the friend being the sole heir. He was of sound mind when the will was changed and everything had been filed correctly, so fortunately all it did was waste everyone's time. Friend had no idea about the change until the attorney contacted her. His reasoning was that his kids almost never contacted him while the friend brought him into her family and took care of him after his wife passed. Did all of the yard work, cleaned his house, drove him anywhere he needed to go, invited him for dinner every night, etc. I would say that while you have no obligation, take a long, hard look at your father's time with his girlfriend as well as yours when deciding what to do. Get the 2 items appraised. Offer to sell them to her at an amount that you adjusted down according to your evaluation of her relationship with your father and yours. All of us siblings are close. 2 of us were very close with our father, and 1 fell out with him years ago but had just started reconciling with him. He was close with his girlfriend, but in a bachelor kind of way. They went on dates. He bought her lavish gifts, but they didn't stay over much at each other's places. After his death, his two ex-wives have helped out more with the planning and organizing than she has. In fact, she hasn't helped at all. Not the whole. Perhaps consider talking with the executors of the will to give her the first option to purchase the items from the estate. If it hasn't been done, the executors should secure the home and consider changing the locks. Things go missing at this point all too often. I am sorry for your loss. Wills are difficult, especially since you should be allowed a time to grieve. I hope your family are all approaching this together and are supportive of one another. Thank you. That's a good idea. We are working together sorting through the items, but frankly, it's years worth of collecting. My two siblings also have quite strong opinions, so agreeing on a matter like this is close to impossible. Furthermore, to complicate the matter, my own mother, his former wife, would like to buy the silver bowl from us. We're fairly sure she should have it, as she has previously owned it with him and Mrs. It. Not the a-hole. It just so happens that these are the two most valuable items in the entire apartment. What a wild coincidence. Tell her no, and remove the items from the apartment before she uses her spare key or gets the superintendent to let her in to take them. I know, right? We have removed them long ago and are debating where to store them. I'm sure the house itself is 100 times more valuable than those two items, though. It's a rented apartment. If he owned it, it would be worth millions as it's located in a popular area. It's drafty as balls though, and hallways are topsy-turvy from the building settling over time. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to get rid of my office so my boyfriend's kid can have his own room? I, female 33, met my boyfriend Ash, male 39, 7 months ago. 4 months ago, he lost his job and couldn't afford his rent. We were only seeing each other for 3 months, so we've never discussed moving in together, so I was surprised when he asked me to move in. He promised it'll only be for a month, 2 at the most, and then he'll find someplace else. It's been okay living with him, and he still stayed until now as he's still looking for a job. I inherited a house from my grandparents, which I own on my own. It's got a ground floor with sitting room, kitchen, bathroom, drawing room. It's not an actual room. It's more like patio with windows around it. Upstairs, there's a master bedroom and a bathroom. It used to have 2 other bedrooms, but I run a small business for a living. Think Etsy and stuff, and I have been very successful for the past 5 years. So I remodeled those 2 bedrooms into a huge office which I need for work. I wasn't made aware of this before I moved in, but he has a 12-year-old son that he sees once a month. I haven't met him yet, but Ash wants it to happen soon. Ash started hinting that we should do some changes and paint and change the office into 2 bedrooms like it used to be as he saw photos, so I can use one as an office and one for a son. My first reaction was absolutely not. I explained that I need my office the way it is and can't downsize it, especially now during Christmas rush. He pushed, and I clarified that I am not going to make a bedroom for a child I haven't even met yet, that he only sees once a month. He started crying and called me a selfish witch. He started saying that I didn't care if he has a bond with a son, and he couldn't believe that I didn't want to meet him. To make matters worse, he keeps pushing me to do it, sending me photos of boys' rooms, making a wish list for Amazon, and every time we meet Myra's friends, he tells everyone that I don't want this child to have his own bedroom, that I may turn into an evil stepmother. I keep having to do damage control, but some people believe him and think I'm a witch. And my head is a mess. I'm starting to think I may be selfish here, considering the boy lives with his mother and siblings and he shares his room with 4 other kids. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to convert my office into my boyfriend's son's bedroom? He lost his job and couldn't afford his rent. We were only seeing each other for 3 months, so we've never discussed moving in together. I was surprised when he asked me to move in. I wasn't made aware of this before he moved in, but he has a 12-year-old son that he sees once a month. I haven't met him yet, but Ash wants it to happen soon. Ash started hinting that we should do some changes and paint and change the office into 2 bedrooms like it used to be. He started crying and called me a selfish witch. He tells everyone that I don't want this child to have his own bedroom and I may turn into an evil stepmother. Why are you with this person? He is a jobless mooch who lies to you and tries to control your belongings and possessions while using up your kindness and generosity. Kick this idiot to the curb ASAP. Not the a-hole. Literally all of this. Get him out before he's there long enough to claim tenancy and you have to pay money to evict him. This is only going to get worse. If any partner got mad and called me a witch, selfish or otherwise, they'd be out on their butt before they knew what was happening. There is a good term for this: hobosexual. Not the a-hole. Look, time to open your eyes here. You met this guy 7 months ago. 3 months after meeting, he moves in for a month or 2 tops. Now it's been 4 months and not only he is not leaving, he's not working and he wants you to change your house around to accommodate a kid who is there once a month, whom you've never met. If you can't see the laundry list of red flags here, I don't know what to tell you. Get an eviction notice in writing so you are legally covered and serve it to him. He's gotta go. It only gets worse from here. Not only has she never met the kid, but from the way she wrote it, it sounds like she didn't even know he had a kid in the first place. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not paying for my stepdaughter's tuition because she wants to be a doctor? My wife and I have been married for a decade. She's a stay-at-home wife and we have no children of our own, though she has a daughter from a previous relationship, Sarah, and we've gotten along for the most part. Sarah is a junior in college and pursuing a biology degree with additional courses required by medical schools. She's had a dream of being a doctor and helping people since her mom and I met. The problem is she's not a very good student. She's failed her biology 1 class and had to retake it to get a B. She really struggled in her next level biology class and finished with a C. She also got a C in her chemistry class. She got a B in calculus 1 and 2. She's making A's in her non-science and non-math classes, so they're padding her GPA, which is at 3.2. This semester, I just learned she will make B's and C's in her science and math classes. I'm not a doctor, and I don't know any doctors, but I did online research. I found out that medical schools require many things, but at the top of the list is a high GPA and top grades in science and math classes. With Sarah's grades, she's not getting into any medical school. I even looked into nursing school to see if I can talk her into going that route. And all the ones I looked at require higher grades than what she has. I talked with my wife about it, and she said medical schools look at other things besides grades, and that's where Sarah excels. She has a solid volunteer resume, and she cares about people. I argued none of that matters if her grades are not good enough. She argues that Sarah will do great in the interviews. Like I said, I have no experience with medical school, so I can't argue with her logic. Instead, I talked with Sarah when she came home for Thanksgiving and told her to look into another major, because she might not be cut out to be a doctor. She ran to her mom and we all got into a huge argument. I admit I lost my temper and yelled that I am not wasting any more money on something she'll fail at. I told them both I'm not paying for next semester's classes unless she changes her major to something more realistic. I feel bad. I really do. But I'm not rich, and I don't have money to waste if she doesn't have a chance to get into medical school. Am I the a-hole? Additional info. The reason why I want her to switch majors is that having a biology degree without any advanced degree is useless from my research. While I don't know any doctors, I have friends who have biology degrees without other advanced degrees and they couldn't do anything with it. One had to go back to school for another degree. One works as an assistant manager at Lowe's. Another has been a receptionist for 20 years. They all advised against getting just a biology degree. While these are all noble jobs, they didn't need to pay for a biology degree to get those jobs. I'm still willing to pay for her degree if she switches to something that will allow her to get a good job. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. The YTAs are ridiculous. Medical schools are very competitive, and every one of them have a minimum GPA requirement. If her GPA is below that, they'll automatically reject her without a chance of an interview. While she can make a decent living with a biology degree, she has to be good in science and math to excel in those fields. If she's making B's and C's, they're not even going to interview her. I understand the people saying you should give her a semester to improve, but they don't understand how science and math work. The more advanced science and math classes are built upon what should have been learned in the lower level classes. If she's making B's and C's in the lower level classes, she's going to really struggle in upper level classes. If she got a C in basic chemistry, she's not going to get an A in organic chem. This is accurate. OP is not the a-hole for being realistic. Mom is being 100% supportive no matter what parent, but that is not always the most helpful in the long run. Someone needs to be objective, since the family is not wealthy enough to fund multiple college degrees for Sarah. Not the a-hole. If she can't pass Bio 1 and Chem 1 with high A's, she will not pass the MCAT. Basically, given all this information, there is not a med school that will take her. She needs to find an alternate path in life. I had a 3.3 science GPA, but scored 521 MCAT, which was 98th percentile the year I took it. Got multiple MD acceptances. GPA is so subjective based on school. There's a reason schools weight MCAT just as, if not more, heavily. It's the great equalizer. Maybe she should do a mock MCAT exam to show how she might score, which could help validate OP's concerns. Or speak to someone at the school who can allay OP's fears, or prove him right with someone connected to the school. Not the a-hole, but a frank family discussion is in order to discuss what type of aid will be available after college. Info: has she taken organic chemistry yet? I remember knowing a bunch of people on a pre-med track back in college, and that class more than any other seemed to be a sorting hat for who continued on to med school. True, chem is the washout class. It takes people like Sarah and gets them out of pre-med. Last story. Am I the a-hole for bailing on Thanksgiving because I'm sick of hearing what a failure I am? I, 28 male, come from a family where everyone joins the Marines. Most of the males in my family join straight out of high school and make it their career in their entire personalities. I joined straight out of high school, did my time but did not re-enlist. Instead, I went to school and got a good job in a hospital that supports my wife and I. I'm happy with my life, but whenever I see my family, they always like to talk about how I give up on the military for an easy life. How my cousins made it though and are still in. Since it's November, every Thanksgiving has to have a Marine birthday cake and leads to comments about me not acknowledging that's Marine's birthday on Facebook. Just dumb stuff that doesn't even matter. I have told them over and over that that is fine for my cousins, but they are also deployed a lot and never see their families. And I like coming home to my wife every day. One of my cousins is 21, married to the first girl who spoke to him and now has a 1-year-old. This is who they compare me to because I'm 28 with no kids. That's fine if that's what he wants, but not for me. I told my mom this year my wife and I are going to stay home and do our own Thanksgiving. She's upset and calling me immature, saying they're just kidding and I'm too sensitive. But I'm sick of getting put down every holiday and family get-together for choosing a different life path than them. Not the a-hole. If you do end up going, bring the Crayola tub of crayons and set it out with the desserts. LMAO. Not the a-hole. If you're the one who is supposedly too sensitive, why are they the ones all upset over you spending Thanksgiving with your immediate family instead of them? Listen, not the a-hole. Military life isn't for everyone. It's hard, and it's hard on families. Tell mom you aren't the immature one. The rest of them are for being such giant a-holes. Enjoy Thanksgiving with your lovely wife. My dad spent 27 years in the Navy. I still remember telling him as a kid I wanted to join the military. All he said was, "Don't. You never see your family." And just like that, I stopped wanting to be a soldier. Yep, that's how my dad is. He did multiple deployments for various branches. Grandpa was Army and all the siblings. Catholic family either joined or married someone in the service. All he ever said about it was, "Our family did enough." My grandpa served in World War II in Europe. He saw a lot. He did a lot. He absolutely never encouraged any of his kids or grandkids to enter the military. He told us about what he saw and did during the last few years of his life. He was an 18-year-old kid bombing Germany. He never wanted that for any of us. At 95, his voice was still haunted by the things he had to do when he was 18. Families that encourage their kids to join the military, knowing and hoping they'll get sent into war zones, are insane to me. I would never want my family to be forced between taking a life or dying should that come up. Opie did his time and wants nothing to do with it. Can't say I'd want to do anything to do with my family ever again if they mocked me for not wanting to be a part of that any longer. Update: I'm breaking up with my boyfriend of 7 years. Original post: I, 25 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 27 male, for 7 years, and I'm about to end it because of a stupid question he asked me. Like 2 days ago, we were chilling at his place, and out of nowhere, he asked me if I could ever raise someone else's child. I was confused since I'm child-free and so is he, so I said that he knows I don't even want kids of my own. He clarified that he means if I'd ever raise and accept a kid that my partner would have in an affair. Honestly, I was speechless. I don't even know what I was feeling in that moment. Anger? Confusion? I think I stayed there in silence for a few minutes before I tried to justify and say that the hypothetical child is not at fault in this situation. At that point, I was starting to get angry and asked him if he's trying to tell me something. He got mad at me and asked me how could I even assume he'd do something like this, and that it was just an innocent question. I started to feel like throwing up, so I just left his place. I haven't left my place since then. He has tried to reach out and I assume told our mutual friends about what happened, because some of them too have been reaching out and telling me to hear him out. I haven't replied to anyone. I just feel so drained and mad. He went from again trying to say that the child is innocent, to saying he's sorry, to telling me I'm overreacting and so on. I don't think I've calmed yet entirely, and maybe I will regret this when I will get back to my senses, but I decided to break up with him. I don't think I can ever fully trust him after this, even if this question was indeed innocent. He knows my family's history with cheating. He knows I lost my grandpa because he made some bad decisions after his wife cheated on him. He knows my grandma has been mistreated her entire life by a cheating man. He knows all of this, so I don't understand why he'd think it was okay to ask me this. Even if I'm in fact overreacting, this question planted some ugly thoughts into my mind that I don't think I can get rid of. And I'm gonna throw down the drain a 7-year-old pretty much perfect relationship because of a stupid question. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. Tell him you would never raise someone else's child, and that you would leave him immediately if it would ever come to a situation where he made a child in an affair, and then see his reaction. Basically, play the ball back to him and observe. I was thinking the same, but opposite. Tell him, yeah, sure, I love kids. Then wait for him to admit. Then stab him with a fork or something. Exactly, because if you say no and he did cheat, then he'll try harder to hide it. If you say yes, he might think he has a chance and you know sooner. My husband and I always love talking/asking those hypothetical questions. We love listening to each other's opinion. We laugh and sometimes argue about it and help us know each other better. But this case, I would dig deeper. He just asked you out of nowhere and tried to justify that the child is innocent. And then your mutual friends asking you to hear him out? So much red flag that this is not just an innocent question at all. Was there any signs of an affair? Talk to him before you make a decision, at least for the sake of your 7-year-long relationship. And talk to your friends too. They must know something. Throwing away a 7-year relationship because of a hypothetical question that you haven't confirmed is related to anything in reality? Opie's partner dodged a bullet. Opie never even confirmed it before deciding it was over. She must have been wanting to make this decision beforehand. I didn't think she had a good enough reason, so she just took the opportunity. Now for the first update. Yes, I get it. I definitely need to work on my issues and on my temperament, but cheating is and will always be a touchy subject for me. And he knew how it triggered me, which is why I had that reaction. I'm not trying to excuse it, but I'm just explaining why. Some of you said my reaction was over the top and that I should listen to him first, and you were right. I admit I might have jumped too fast to that conclusion, and I should probably work on that. So I decided to meet him and talk. We did, and at first he denied that he ever did anything, and said he just randomly thought of that question. But in the end, he admitted that he did cheat on me. He swore that it was just a mistake, and it only happened once. But the woman he cheated on me with got pregnant and didn't want to terminate it. He said that he didn't want to lose me because of a mistake, and that he loves me more than anything, but confessed that he too wishes to raise that kid, and was hoping he could do it with me because being in a relationship with me feels so natural and comfortable to him, and he can't imagine raising a child with someone else. He confessed to his friends and they told him he should try to warm me up to the idea. And since he knew that the biggest reason why I'm child-free is my fear of being pregnant, he figured that I might agree to it because someone else was delivering the baby. He told me that he was always hoping I'd change my mind, and that while he still regrets what he did, we should view it as an opportunity. At that point, I was close to losing it, and I almost started screaming at him. I know I should probably work on that too. Then I asked him why he thought I'd agree with this, when he knows about what happened to my grandpa and grandma because of their cheating spouses. And he said that this is completely different. After that, I honestly couldn't listen to him anymore. So once again, I just left. I blocked all of our supposedly mutual friends who kept defending him, and I also blocked him. I'm devastated that our relationship is ending like this, but he did the one thing that he knew would hurt me the most, and I can't see myself ever forgiving him or accepting his child, even though he is right that the child is innocent. Maybe some of you were right when you said that he dodged a bullet, because I would have been a terrible stepmom probably. Second update. Some people ask for an update, so I guess here it is. First of all, thank you to everyone who sent me their supportive words. It really meant a lot and helped me as well. Like I said in my original post, I broke up with him. After that, I blocked him at his friends, so I tried reaching out to my friends. And he also came by my place 3 times and tried to get me to listen to him. I didn't open the door and just ignored him. After the 3rd time, my best friend and her boyfriend asked me if I'd like to live with them for a while, so maybe he'll stop bothering me. It worked. I also told my parents what happened, and they were heartbroken since our families have been friends since before both of us were born, and they considered him part of our family, but they support and understand my decision 100%. They also talked to his parents and found out that he lied to them and told them that I wanted to take a break from our relationship because I'm losing feelings for him and I want to explore my sexuality, which is not true, and I've never even once told him something like this. My parents told them the truth and they reached out and apologized for what he did and told me that they support me as well. Also, one of the friends that suggested he tries to warm me up to the idea messaged a friend of mine and he basically said that he knows he messed up and that he's terribly sorry for suggesting that in the first place and for being a bad friend to me. I told my friend to just ignore him. I guess it's nice that he acknowledged his mistake, but I just don't feel like dealing with any of them anytime soon. Honestly, I'm trying to tell myself that he's not worth it, but it still hurts, and it feels awful. I thought we were both happy together and that I was enough for him, but I guess not. So yeah, that's about it. I'm slowly getting better and I have a lot of wonderful and supportive people around me, which helps a lot. I'll stay away from relationships for a while and just focus on myself. I will also try therapy like some of you kindly or not so kindly suggested. Thank you again to the kind strangers who were being supportive. I haven't replied to anyone, but I've read them. Thank you for listening to me. Now for more comments before reading the last update. Man, the fact that he lied to his family and tried to blame you is absolutely disgusting. This dude is just manipulative. It's awesome that you cut him off. I hope you go out into the world and live your best life. Exactly. He tried to blame her for the breakup. He is scum, a cheater and a liar. She is way better off without that. Good for you. You don't need therapy. You followed your instincts. You knew something was wrong and you walked away. You did nothing wrong. Be proud that you made a move to leave. You did the right thing. Yes, she does need therapy. This relationship was from the time she was 18. It's a huge breakup that she will need to work through. Also, if she has a very strong reaction to anything about cheating, it could damage any relationship she gets into in the future. Or she could start to be overly suspicious, accusatory, and not just to herself but to others around her. She needs to work on herself, the extreme heartbreak she's feeling, and getting over the only relationship she's had as an adult. I got therapy when my high school sweetheart husband left me, in the ER. It really helped me process everything in a healthy way, and it's very validating to be told that you are reacting normally. I think it was most valuable in analyzing my relationship and realizing that it was not actually healthy, but emotionally abusive. I processed that and learned what I do actually want in a relationship, how to set and hold boundaries, and how to navigate dating as an adult for the first time at 30. Now, I have an absolutely fantastic, healthy, mutually supportive, and communicative partnership with my fiancé. I would not have recovered from my trauma as quickly or healthily without my therapist. Just don't forget to get tested. I wish you well in your healing. I'm so sorry you went through this. You deserve a happy, healthy life and relationship, and I hope you have it all in your own time. Best of luck to you. I haven't even thought about that. I will get tested as soon as possible. Thank you for the advice. Now for the last update. Hello again. Some people have asked for a few more updates, and I'll also answer some frequently asked questions. First of all, as some people suggested, I got tested for STDs and I'm clean, thankfully. Second of all, I saw some people being mean to my ex's affair partner, but I'd like to ask you all to not think badly of her. She reached out to me because she wanted to apologize and tell me her side of the story. I agreed to meet her, and she told me what happened. Basically, she and my ex met a few months ago in a club. He was there having a bachelor party thrown for one of his friends. They met there and started talking. He told her he was single and they hooked up. After that, they remained in contact and occasionally hooked up. She showed me proof, their texts, and he had been lying to her about being single and not wanting a serious relationship. She enjoyed the thing they had going on and didn't want a relationship either. So they remained hump buddies, I guess? They met around 7 months ago, and around a month ago she found out she was pregnant. She told him that she wants to keep it, and that if he doesn't want to be in the kid's life, she's okay with it, but she's keeping it. He insisted on being in the kid's life but came clean about being in a relationship with me. From then on, she told him that he needs to tell me the truth or she will tell me herself. So yeah, that's the backstory. She was really sweet and apologetic, and I really wish her and the baby nothing but the best. Hopefully the baby will take after their mother only. Now on to the questions. Why aren't we married after 7 years of dating? I already mentioned in a comment that I do not want to get married. I don't see the point in it, to be honest. I talked to him about this and he told me he is fine with it as he doesn't see the point in marriage either. Why don't we live together? We live in 2 separate places. Basically, my place is really close to my job. The job that I have required me to sometimes go there out of nowhere, but it pays really well. He is currently studying. I'm not sure what's called in English, but he's doing the studies you do after getting your master's degree. And his place is really close to his university. Neither of us were willing to give up on this advantage we had, so we decided to talk again about moving in together after he finishes his studies. One particular person has been quite nasty and said that no wonder he cheated on me, because I basically trapped him with false hope that one day we'd have a happy family. I'd like to say that I've always been open about my wishes regarding my future. He knew me and what I wanted as we've been friends before dating since our families are close. He told me 4 years that he is more than okay with what I want. I thought we were very open to each other. I've always voiced my complaints, /wants, /needs, and I've always encouraged him to do the same and vice versa. Like I already said, I thought our relationship was perfect. This might sound cold and witchy to some people, but even if I loved him, if I knew our views don't align, I wouldn't have committed to a 7-year-old relationship with him. I still haven't replied back to him or his friends yet, and I don't think I will. His parents are still very apologetic to me, and it kinda makes me feel bad since it's not their fault. They're extremely mad at him and stopped supporting him financially. I moved back in my place 2 days ago, and he thankfully stopped trying to reach out to me. I'm still not over it completely, as I've spent the last 7 years of my life loving him. But having a relationship, any kind of relationship, with him again is out of question. That's about it, I suppose. This will probably be the last thing I post regarding this situation. Thank you for listening to me rant, and thank you once again for the people giving me advice and being supportive. 7 months and lying about being single is not a mistake. How can you destroy all we've built together over one little mistake? That will now be my main focus in life. A constant reminder of your betrayal cost loads of money and changed our lives forever. The important thing was that she meant nothing to me, and yet she was worth jeopardizing our relationship. Friends got it right. I'm glad to see the last update to this. I'd followed the first couple in real time. I truly feel for the OP, having to see her boyfriend revealed as the trash he is. He tells the affair partner is single and starts banging her regularly and apparently without protection. Then decides to tell his girlfriend in the stupidest, most brain-dead method imaginable. And even then, lies about it being just the one time, which is not only biologically implausible, though not impossible, but is also absolutely going to get found out as a lie, when girlfriend inevitably speaks with the affair partner, says they would be co-parenting a kid even in his dream scenario. Oh, and then lies to his parents, in a way that's going to be pretty obviously a lie when he shows up with a freaking baby. I'm baffled and enthralled by this man's mind. It's like art. The sheer audacity of thinking that his avowed child-free girlfriend, with trauma around cheating, would happily raise this affair baby? And that the baby's mother, who showed every inclination of wanting the child, would just not be around or something? I desperately want to hear him explain himself. It would be fascinating. Not only the ex-boyfriend, I would love to hear his idiotic friend's reasonings for why they told him to warm her up to the idea and bringing it up first as a hypothetical question. Like, good on the one guy for finally realizing how stupid all of them were, but I would love to know what was going through their minds. Or ask them if they had been OP in this scenario. Would they have acted any different than her? Would they be alright with raising their partner's affair baby? My guess is no. PSA, it's okay to quietly hold out hope that someone will change their mind about liking pineapple pizza. It is not okay to hold out hope that they will change their mind about having kids. It is one of the main things a relationship needs to be on the same page about. OP's ex is a clown on so many levels. My ex held out hope I'd change my mind. This was after I had my tubes tied. Same. I was so upfront and clear about wanting no kids and a lot of traveling. What do you know? My ex actually wanted to stay in one spot and raise kids, never really going anywhere, because life was for the children. Like, man, don't waste my time. Surprise! Mine eventually let slip that he wanted the option to have kids, and I broke up with him. Lo and behold, several months later when I was with someone else, he was suddenly fine with not having kids and wanted to get back together.